Hey everyone, in today's video I'm going to show you how I painted up the Iron Widow here. So this model is designed by VX Labs and I have done a couple of their models in a couple of my videos. So definitely go over and check them out. A link is below in the description. So I printed these pieces on the Uniformation GK2 and the Frozen Sonic Mega 8K. And as you can see, I've already done some of the prep work here. Time to get them in some primer and paint and put everything together. And as you can see, Mega does an incredible job on the likeness of Scarlett Johansson. And I will be doing this model in Resin One's Water Fairy water washable resin. That's a lot of wah in there. So let's not waste any time, let's get right to it. So now that we got everything primered up, the first thing I'm going to do is the skin tones. And for the skin tones, I'm going to be using these three colors here from Vallejo. It's just a base flesh, a highlight flesh, and a cattle skin. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, but it has a little bit of a pinkish color in it. So first things first, I'm going to throw a little bit of thinner in there. That way it doesn't always stick to the cup. Then I'm going to start with this base skin tone right here. And I'm going to slap a little bit in there, like so. I'm really just eyeing this. I don't have any like precise measures. And then I'm going to go ahead with the highlight flesh, do the same thing. I'm going to put a little bit of this in there. And then I am going to put a little dab of this pinkish, whatever, cattle skin or cadell skin. I don't know what it's called, but I'm going to put a little bit of that in there. And then I'm going to mix it up really good. Get a real kind of a milky consistency to it. Slap it in the airbrush and take a gander at what the color looks like when it's on the model. So after a couple of coats, I got a nice base tone here on the face. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a rose undertone, and then I'm going to hit it with a little bit of highlight, and then I'm going to do the rose color into the nose and the eyes and in different parts to give it a little bit of contrast. And while I have this loaded up in the airbrush, I'm going to go ahead and paint the rest of the skin tones on the other body parts. And for the undertone, I'm going to use this rose brown here. It's a little pink with a little bit of brown in it, a little bit of haze in it. It's not going to oversaturate the model, and it gives it a nice shade to the face. I'm going to take some of this rose tone and go underneath the chin and different areas of the face. And I'll be doing the same thing with other parts of the body. And on the hands, I'll just go into the fingertips and in the joints and give it a little bit of highlight. And then once all that's done, I'll go back with a lighter shade of that first skin tone that we used and do some highlighting. Now that we got all of the parts painted, highlighted, and shaded, I'm going to go in and I'm going to seal everything. And what I'm using right now is this right here. Now, if you can't find that, then I suggest in using this. This is another one. This is basically the same thing, just as good, but this is what I seal all of my models with. So now I'm going to start painting the red armor part of the suit with this metallic red here from Vallejo Mega Color. You know what, guys? This is working for me. Hold up. Turn this off here. All right. So, hey guys, look. I don't think I've ever done this in the video before, but I'm just not feeling this model. Not feeling it at all. I don't like the color scheme. I just don't like the way the paint's going on. So I'm going to change it up a little bit. And yeah, I'm probably going to include this coverage, but I'm going to show you a little bit of different model. This is not what I want to do. So as you know, this model is supposed to be Iron Widow. So to me, it doesn't look very much Iron Widowish to me. I mean, this is a red and gold color scheme here based off after Iron Man. To me, I don't like it. It's too flushed, it's too saturated, and it doesn't speak Iron Widow to me. So I'm going to change it up a little bit. So I think I'm going to go with maybe like a black and gunmetal gray and maybe some silver type accents, a paint scheme on this thing. I think it'll look much better. So I'm going to go ahead and I guess restart the whole paint process. Again, I've never done this in a video before, but okay, here we go. All right, so after painting all these pieces here, I'm going to start back over. I think that I'm going to leave the skin tones. The skin tones look pretty good, and just paint directly over the red part. Again, I was not feeling it whatsoever. I apologize if that's what you guys were looking for, but now I need to find a really good metallic paint, and I don't think that I have anything besides this deco art here, and I'm not going to use that. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take I've got this game color here, this gray metallic gunmetal here, dark gunmetal, which is almost a black, and I'm going to mix a little black with it to get a bit darker shade to it. And then I'm going to try this, and yeah, let's try this and see if this works. All right, so here's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to mix this up really good, this dark gunmetal here. As you can see, it's like almost a black anyway. And then I'm going to add a little bit of this game color black here, and just a little bit, not too much, just to kind of give it a darker shade. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and mix it up real good and see if I can get the black metallic effect from it with the gunmetal, the metallic from the gunmetal, and then the black itself. I should be able to pull it off. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to apply it to this leg here. This is just one solid piece here, and we're going to see how it turns out. All right, so finally I painted it the black and gray metallic color, and I sealed it with this Kryon Fusion right here. This has actually replaced the Color Max, and it's a flat, and it actually turned out, to me, it looks a lot better. So I'm going to go with this right here. I'm going to get restarted on the rest of the paint. Now all I did is I just roughed it up a little bit with some high grit sandpaper. I think I used like a 400 grit sandpaper just to kind of go over it a little bit, just to make sure the paint was going to bite. And then I just painted over it. I did not reprimer it or anything like that, because I am using the same style of paint. If you're using a different brand of paint, then you might want to go ahead and reprimer it. But yeah, all sealed up and everything. I'm gonna put some silver accents or chrome accents on it, and this will look really, really good. Okay, so here we go with the painstaking process of going ahead and repainting everything. I'm not reprimering anything. I am just going to just start recoating it. So here we go. Next thing I'm going to do is start adding some of the chrome metallic elements to the armor. So the next thing I'm going to do is glue everything together. I'm going to use this 2-part quick cure 5-minute epoxy. So I printed the arc reactor in a clear blue resin, and we'll just add this to the center of the chest. The model does have a point of entry where you can run a light through it in order to come back behind this and light all this up. Not sure I'll do that or not, but I did print it that way just in case. Alright, so we're ready to start on the head sculpt. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to do the eyes, then I'm going to do the mouth, then I'm going to do some shading for the eyeshadow and the eyebrows, and then we're going to move into the hair. First things first, we're going to put the black on the eyes and the white on the eyes. Do that first. And now we're going to go ahead and load the iris and pupil. And now we're going to do a little highlighting with a lighter green. And now next we're going to do the lips. The other thing that I like to do on the lips is, like on the bottom lip, is I like to pad a little bit of a lighter tone than what I put on it, just because of light purposes and just to add a little bit of highlight to it. It turns out just really nice. And then I'll take just a little bit of thinner on the tip of my brush and just kind of blend it in a little bit. And it kind of gives it a little bit of nice sheen on there, a little bit lighter in those highlighted areas. And you can do this on the top too. And depending on how detailed you want to get with it, you can always take some red, kind of dry brush it out, dab it out a little bit, almost get it like a glaze. And then you go into the deep recesses right here. And then I'm going to use this little bit of blue-gray right here for the eyeshadow. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to water it down pretty good. I'm going to wick a lot of that off here. And then we're going to kind of glaze it up in to the eyeshadow area. And the next thing we'll do is start giving her some eyelashes. So the next thing we're going to do is the hair, and I'm going to use this brown reddish color right here for a base. And now we have the base color all down. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to try, I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm going to use this corrosion game color right here, and I'm going to dry brush over this to try and accent a little bit of orange brown into the red. And then for the final, I'm going to use this scruffless brown right here. This is a lighter brown that I'm going to use just up on the tips and on the high points of the hair. And now we're done with that, and I've sealed the head. And once it's dry, I'm going to take that gloss varnish and I'm going to put it on the eyes and maybe on the lips. All right, and for the base here, we're gonna go with a gunmetal gray. We're gonna do this all over here, and I'm gonna put probably some gold or copper accents on there. Gonna look pretty cool. So now we got the base in a nice gunmetal gray. I'm gonna use this copper here from Vallejo and do some accents on here, like on the ring around here, and probably around on this area here. Now I was going to do like some battle damage on this, but I think I want it to stay clean. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the copper accents on it. I'm gonna go into some black with the airbrush, like on the air vents right here, and some other areas on it, and that's about all of the weathering I'm gonna do on it. I just really would think this looks nicer as a clean piece. So this copper is going on pretty light. The one thing I can say is when you apply metallics by brush, always do them in thin coats. You're gonna have to do a couple to get it to the consistency that you want it, but in the end it'll be worth it because you won't have any brush strokes. You can put this stuff on way too thick and it's gonna look like mud rather than a metallic. So just keep that in mind whenever you're brushing on metallics. All right, we got one coat around that ring, and now we're going to go ahead and do this top one. All right, and we're going to recoat that one or two more times, and that'll be it for the base, except for the airbrushing. All right, everybody, that is it. Thank you so much for tuning into the video. I hope you got something out of the painting this model here to maybe help you paint your own. And it is this time where I do give a huge shout out to my Patreon members. If you'd like to become a member of my Patreon, the link is below in the description, where we do have Model of the Month. We also have our own private Discord where we talk all things printing and painting, and then some stuff we probably shouldn't talk about, but what happens on the Discord stays on the Discord. Speaking of Patreon members, I got a couple of new ones this week. Matt Rayner and Christopher Fry. Thank you guys so much for becoming the newest members of the Patreon. And again, check it out. You know the drill. Like and subscribe. Leave some comments below. Let the algorithm know that we're still here. And stay safe out there. Get out and create something. Print, prep, paint, repeat. And until the next video, we'll see you. You know, I often wondered if Tony Stark wears the Iron Thong.